Hello there, you're watching on television. This is State of Business. I am Pumutha Katukampala. We have our top stories. Producer price index continues to rise. Tourism sector expects bumper winter season. Welcome back, you're watching State of Business. Now let's have a detailed look at today's stories. Now, producer price index continued to climb in October as it rose a further 0.9% from a month earlier. This is an acceleration from 0.4% in the month before, according to the Department of Census and Statistics. This index showed continued high price pressures faced by local producers across their supply chains, although consumer price trended down in the last 2 months after peaking at 70% in September. Prices for agricultural production rose 1.2% and those in the manufacturing sector rose 0.5%. The utilities category, consisting of electricity, gas, steam, air conditioning and water supply, rose 9% from the previous month. Measured on an annual basis, producer prices rose 100.4% in October compared to 104.1% in September. This reflects some easing from a year ago but continues with the months-long rise in prices above 100%, similar to hyperinflation facing producers. Price movements measured on a monthly basis reflect better on where near-term prices could be heading. Producer prices indicate inflation at the producer level before such pressures are passed down to the end consumer. Hence, the PPI is typically a bellwether for the near-term consumer price index. Producers mostly raised their prices during the last 3 years to offset cost pressures from supply chain disruptions, the dollar shortage, and a relatively higher demand for goods. Meanwhile, Chairman of Advocata Institute Murtaza Jafferji urges the government to sunset tax incentives and holidays granted on an ad hoc basis. He expressed these sentiments while delivering the 24th annual tax oration for CA Sri Lanka. Jafferji stresses that the government should focus on targeted fiscal tools such as tax credits to attract know-how and investment in a much more targeted manner. Murtaza Jafferji pointed out that tax incentives not only erode the tax base but also create economic efficiency through distortion or resource allocation while increasing administrative burden on tax authorities. Under the Strategic Development Projects Act No. 14 of 2008, projects identified by the Board of Investment in consultation with relevant ministries are granted tax exemptions up to 25 years. He also noted that over time, tax incentives have become less relevant for investments as other factors have become more prominent. These factors include economic and political stability, costs of raw materials, local markets, transparency of legal framework, availability of skilled labor, labor costs, and quality of life. Jafferji opined that tax credits are a better fiscal policy tool than tax concessions as they are capped at an absolute value of a relative value of a specified expense such as research and investment. Further, he proposed establishing an earned income tax credit system based on the tax credit similar to the United States, which would encourage people to seek employment without solely depending on state-funded welfare programs. Now, President Ranil Wickremesinghe believes that Sri Lanka can be elevated on the international sphere by adopting a non-aligned foreign policy. President Wickremesinghe maintained this stance during the 97th Passing Out Parade for cadet officers of the Diyathalawa Military Academy.
ජනරාජ්‍ය ආරක්ෂා කිරීම ඔබේ යුතුයකම. ජනරාජ්‍ය ආරක්ෂා කරන්නට ජනරාජ්‍යයේ ව්‍යවස්ථාවත් ආරක්ෂා කරන්නට උවමනයි. ඒ වගේම ජනරාජ්‍යයේ අතුරුංගෙන්ුත් ආරක්ෂා කරන්නට තියෙනවා. මේ කාරණා දෙක තමයි ඔබ සියලු දෙනාටම මෙතන බාර දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගකීම් ඔබ ඉෂ්ට කරයි කියලා අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. හැම අවස්ථාවෙම ඔබ පුහුණු කරපු ආයතනයේ ගෞරවය ආරක්ෂා කරන්න. ඒ කීර්ති නාමය තවත් පතුරවන්න. ඔබ ඇතුල් වෙන යුද්ධ හමුදාවේ ගෞරවයත් කීර්ති නාමයත් ආරක්ෂා කර යුතුයි කියලා මං ඔබ සියලු දෙනාටම මතක් කරන්නට කැමතියි. අපි පොඩි දූපතක් ඉන්දියන් සාගරයේ මැද. අපි කුඩා රටක්. අපි ලෝක බලවතුන් සමග එක එක පිළට එකතු වෙලා නැහැ. අපි කිසිම පිළකට අපි වෙනම ගිවිසුම් ඇති කරන්නට යන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් අපි ඉන්නේ කුඩා රටක් හැටියට මේ ලෝකේ. තනි රටක් හැටියට. එහෙම කුඩා රටවල් තනියම ඉන්න රටවල් ගණනාවක් තියෙනවා. අන්න එහෙම අවස්ථාවකදී ආණ්ඩුවේ යුතුකම් තියෙනවා රටවල් එක්ක මිත්‍රභාවය ආරක්ෂා කරන්න. ඔබේ යුතුකම තියෙන්නේ මේ රට ආරක්ෂා කරන්න. අභ්‍යන්තරයෙන් ඕ පිටතින් එන හැම තර්ජනයකටම හැම අභියෝගයකටම මුහුණ දෙන්න. ඒ වගේ තමන්ගෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා නම් විශේෂයෙන්ම වෙනත් රටවල සේවය කරන්න එක්සත් ජාතීන්ගේ හමුදාව යටතේ ඒ වැඩ කටයුත්තත් අපි ඉෂ්ට කරන්න තියෙනවා.
See you soon with more stories after this short commercial break.
IWS Aviation.
Welcome back. You're watching State of Business. Now, tourist arrivals are averaging an improved 2,400 per day this month as against 1,800 in November. This is mostly driven by the Russian travel according to provisional data from the Sri Lankan Tourism Development Board. Sri Lanka has welcomed 39,025 tourists during the first 16 days of the month. The first 16-day arrivals have also pushed the cumulative figure to date to 667,042. This is a good start to the winter season, which continues till the end of April 2023. Russia emerged the top source market, reflecting 22% or 8,524 of total arrivals during the first 16 days. India remains strong as the top tourist source market for Sri Lanka year-to-date, with a cumulative number of arrivals at 112,581. Industry experts say that resumption of many new international airlines and charter flights in the first 2 weeks of the month, as well as global promotions, were key reasons for the marked pickup in arrivals. As per data released by the central bank, earnings from the tourism sector crossed the $1 billion mark in October. From January to November, earnings from tourism amounted to a total of $1.12 billion, reflecting a 313% increase from the corresponding period of last year. November earnings amounting to $107.5 million, up from $75.6 million in October this year. Last year, November earnings amounted to $115.4 million. Meanwhile, the super luxury passenger ship Ocean Odyssey, carrying 108 of America's richest tourists, recently arrived at the port of Colombo. The ship sailed in from Cotton Port in India and sailed to Trincomalee port yesterday. The tourists who came on this ship disembarked at the port of Colombo and are currently touring Colombo, Kurunegala, Habarana, Sigiriya, Trincomalee by luxury bus. They are spending about 2.5 days on the island before boarding the ship at the port of Trincomalee on the 21st of December. The ship is then scheduled to sail from the port of Trincomalee to Thailand. Marking the arrival of the ship for the first time at the port of Colombo, the ceremonial exchange of light took place between the Minister of Ports, Shipping and Aviation, Nimal Siddipal de Silva, and the captain of the ship.
We are happy and delighted to see that more and more passenger ships are arriving at the Colombo harbour. For last two years, there were no passenger ships coming to this harbour due to COVID and also due to the political instability and the economic recession in Sri Lanka. Now the international community and also the tourists have confidence in Sri Lanka, and more tourists and cruise ships are coming to Sri Lanka. Especially, this is a unique ship which carries about 300 passengers, high spending passengers here, and they have stopped here, but all these passengers has gone to Habarana, and from there they will be going to Trincomalee. And the ship will sail tomorrow morning empty, their crew of course, to Trinco and pick up the passengers from there. So that means all the passengers who came in these ships, tourists, they will spend one night in the hotels around Trinco, Malay and Habarana, and will bring us more foreign exchange rather than just coming to a harbour and going back. So therefore we are happy that under the leadership of His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe, we are facing all the challenges and trying to get over the foreign exchange difficulties and to put the country into the right track, and especially for the tourism to earn more money which is needed for Sri Lanka.
Now, in view of the festive season, the area around the Presidential Secretariat has been transformed into a tourist pool. President Ranil Wickremesinghe on Sunday launched the special Christmas carols and carnival. Under the purview of the Tourism Ministry, the festivities were organised by Sri Lanka Tourism in collaboration with the Tri-Forces and several hotels in Colombo. The event aims to give people an opportunity to enjoy the Christmas spirit and usher in the new year, regardless of caste, creed or religion. Last evening, an 80-foot Christmas tree was unveiled near the Presidential Secretariat. Tourism Minister Harin Fernando believes the event will prove to the world that Sri Lanka is worth visiting. President Wickremesinghe was cordially welcomed by the public and was seen engaged in friendly conversation and posing for photographs. Sitting on the steps of the late Prime Minister D.S. Senanayake statue in front of the gold face, the President took time to take in the Christmas carols. Presidential Secretariat carols will be held from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. every day till the 23rd of December. Special musical shows from the 20th to the 28th of December have also been lined up at the Presidential Secretariat, with the band performing each day. The bands will be Misty, Footprint, Navy and Army, Kurumba, Air Force, Police, Billy, Romesh and Line 1, in that order. For 31st night celebrations, a special musical show called Flashback has been organised with participation of the island's top 30 artists. Stay tuned for the stock update. Welcome back, you're watching State of Business, and now the stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today. The All Share Price Index dropped 117.68 points to close at 8,508.53, and the S&P SL 20 dropped 55.10 points to close at 2,694.45. The turnover was 2.8 billion rupees and over 70 million shares were traded. Coming up next are Forex rates. Well, that's a wrap from today's edition of State of Business. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.